If you've ever wanted to learn twice as fast, this video might feel borderline illegal. 10 years ago, my roommate was studying for exams with 3 highlighters and mild anxiety disorder. I had a simple timer and a stack of ugly index cards. He worked longer, I learned faster. What I'm about to show you isn't a trick, it's a system. It's not about being born a fast learner or a genius. It's about learning effectively, because once you know how to learn the right way, then speed happens automatically. So here's the truth. We're taught what to learn in school, but we're never taught how to learn. And as a result, we do all the wrong things. We cram, we reread, we highlight, and then we forget it all a week later. There's a better way, a way so fast that it feels almost unfair. Like your brain just got a software upgrade. And this isn't hype and it's not magic. It's just a method that works every single time you use it. So let's begin. The first lie we're sold is this: schools teach you what to learn. Almost no one at your school teaches you how to learn. You sit in class, you take notes, you highlight half the book, you reread the same page until your eyes blur and you feel productive. But here's the truth. If your learning feels easy, you're not learning. Real learning isn't about memorizing facts. It's about understanding. Memorizing is similar to dragging and dropping a file to your desktop and then never opening it again. Understanding is similar to AI or an operating system. It lets you apply what you know, remix it, and build it under pressure. That's the difference between being a student and being a master. Psychologists describe it as a pyramid called Bloom's taxonomy. At the bottom, you've got remembering, understanding, and applying. But there at the top, you've got analyzing, evaluating, and creating. Now, mastery lives up there at the peak. And what I'm about to show you is how to climb there faster than most people ever will. But before we build out the new habits, we need to burn off all those fake ones. So lie number 1 is that rereading helps things stick in your memory. It doesn't. Rereading just builds familiarity, not mastery. You recognize the words and your brain says, oh, I know this. And then you confuse the feeling with actual understanding. Recognition isn't recall. And familiar doesn't mean you're fluent. And then lie number 2 is you should highlight more and then you'll learn more. You think you're studying, but you're really just coloring. It feels like progress, but it's not. Unless you're actually engaging your brain, you're not learning. You're just decorating. And highlighting is a glow stick, and it looks bright, it feels good, but it does nothing. So lie number 3 is taking more notes makes you smarter. And I'm guilty of this. I take copious amounts of notes. But if you're just copying, you're not thinking. You're transcribing like a court reporter. Notes only work when they make you process the idea, not just repeat it. Do you see the pattern? All 3 of these lies are passive. They feel safe and they feel easy, but your brain doesn't grow in comfort. It grows through resistance. So here's how to do it right. There's 6 practices that actually rewire how your brain learns. When you use them together, they build on each other. So number 1 is the blank page. And think of it as mental sparring. You study for 15 to 20 minutes, then you close everything. No notes, no books, no AI, just you and a blank page. Now for 3 minutes, write or say anything you remember. These could be ideas, examples, questions, or whatever comes up. Then take another 3 minutes and add what you missed. But only do you look back at the source. That's when rereading actually helps, because now it's targeted and it's focused rereading. You're patching gaps, not just passively scanning. And it's gonna feel uncomfortable, and that's the point. Memory grows under pressure. And if you're using flashcards, don't flip the card until you can teach the answer out loud. Because if you can teach it, you truly own it. All right, number 2 is teach backs. I want you to imagine you're explaining what you just learned to your best friend. And he says, okay, but what does that actually mean? That's your test. You've got to explain the topic clearly, fast, and in plain English. Imagine you're talking to a 15-year-old, and if you stall, you don't understand the topic yet. So ask yourself these 2 questions. 1, why does it work? And 2, what would break if one piece changed? Chase the why and you start to connect the ideas in your mind. Stress test it and you'll expose your own weak spots. That's where your next study session should go, not the stuff you already get. Number 3 is mixed drill sets. And this one's gonna feel wrong because easy practice feels productive, but that's exactly why it fails. If you do the same type of problem over and over, your brain switches off. You're training familiarity, not adaptability. And we all know what Charles Darwin said. The species that survives is not the smartest or the strongest. It's the one that's most adaptable to change. So you want to be adaptable. Don't shoot 100 free throws in a row. Rotate them. Do layups, do threes, screens, free throws. Force your brain to recognize the situation before it responds. That's how real-world skill works. You have to see the play before you act. In math, you could mix derivatives, integrals, or word problems in one session. In a language, you could switch from listening to speaking to grammar and back to speaking. In code, you could read a function, write from scratch, and then debug another. Smooth feels good as humans, but recognition, not repetition, wins the game. Number 4 is case bricks. Think of it like this. Rules are the plan, but examples are the proof. So if you only know the rule, you kind of get it. But when you can show it with real examples, then you really get it. So for everything you learn, try to think of 3 examples. It could be one from your own life, one about money or work, and one from the real world that you can visualize. So think about systems, right? A coffee shop is slow because there's only one milk steamer. But if you add a second one, now the line moves faster. Or you can think about negotiation. The first number someone says in a deal, it changes how everyone thinks about the price. That's why people always try to speak first. Or you can think about habits. Every habit starts with a trigger. If you change the trigger, the habit starts to change too. So whenever you learn something new, don't stop at the rule. Find the real examples that make it click. Number 5 is 2-channel notes. Your brain learns through words and pictures, so you have to use both. And that's what AI is doing too with LLMs. On one page, you can sketch boxes and arrows, show how ideas are interconnected, then write a short 5-line summary in plain language. That's it. 2 channels, 1 memory. The picture builds structure. The words anchor the meaning. And I'll give you an example. The lymphatic system. Draw the flow, nodes, ducts, movement, then describe it. It drains fluid, it filters pathogens, it returns plasma, it supports immunity, and it needs motion. Number 6 is spaced runs. Now, let me explain the idea. You don't get stronger by lifting weights every single day. Your body needs you to rest. And then what happens is you come back stronger. So learning with your mind works the exact same way. Instead of cramming, you study, then you take a break, then you review later. That's how your brain locks things in for good. The key is when you review it. It could be 1 day later, 3 days later, 7 days later, or 21 days later. If you review it too soon, it's a waste of time. But if you wait too long, then you're gonna forget everything. The magic moment is right before you forget. That's when your memory gets stronger. So keep your review short. I'd recommend 5 to 10 minutes. Try to remember first, then check what you missed. If it feels hard, that's a good sign. It means your brain is working. And I'll give you an example. If you're learning a language, you could say day 0, and then learn 20 new words, and then use blank page reps and teach them out loud. Then day 1, review those words without notes. Mix in some listening or speaking practice. Then day 3, use the words in real life. Talk to someone, order food, text a friend. And then day 7, draw a quick map or a list showing how those words connect. And then day 21, record yourself speaking for 1 minute using those 3 words. That's it. It's just short reviews, bursts, a little effort, but that's gonna give you big results. If you do it this way, that's when your learning sticks. Here's how to put everything together into one simple routine. When you sit down to study, don't just dive in right away. Take about 30 seconds to scan the page. Look at the titles, look at the words and the headings. That gives your brain a quick map of what's coming. Then study for 15 to 20 minutes in a burst. After that, close your notes and do 2 quick recall rounds. Try to remember everything without looking. Next, teach it fast. Pretend that a friend is in the room with you and he hurries and asks, "So what does this mean?" Explain it in your own words rapidly, but keep it simple, then mix things up. Don't practice just one kind of problem. Rotate between different ones so your brain learns to spot patterns, not just memorize answers. Now draw it once. Make one quick visual map or sketch that shows how everything connects, and then write a short summary in your own words. And then lastly, review it later. Go back to it in 1 day, 3 days, 7 days, and 21 days. Keep those reviews short. Recall first, then check what you missed. And if it feels a little bit hard, That's perfect. That means it's working. You can run this loop for anything: calculus, coding, Mandarin, business, anatomy, whatever. Do it this way and you'll learn twice as much in half the time, and you'll actually remember it when it counts. Here's the mindset that makes all this work. Smart people don't have better brains. They just have better habits. They focus on effort, not comfort. They practice in ways that transfer to real life, not just ways that make them feel smarter by memorization in the moment. So if you can't explain something clearly to another person, like imagining your best friends in the room, then you don't get it yet. So practice explaining it until you can. Your brain only grows when it faces a challenge. So don't run from the hard parts. That's where the learning happens anyways. And when you train this way, learning stops feeling like annoying homework. It becomes your secret advantage to understanding topics. You stop studying just to pass a test, and you start learning so you can build something of your own. That's the real shift that takes you from a consumer that's passive to a builder that's active. So now that you know how to learn anything, here's your 7-day challenge. Pick one skill. It could be anything that you want to do: coding, AI, finance, neuroscience, guitar, whatever. Commit to this loop for 1 week. Day 1 is blank page reps, and then teach back. And then day 2, you do the spaced run model and then do mixed drills. Day 3, do spaced run and 2-channel notes. Then day 4, do spaced run, case bricks. Day 5, do mixed drills and teach backs. And then day 6, do spaced run and then mini test. Those are the 5 questions. No notes, and then patch in those gaps. And then day 7, do the big teach back. Record a 90-second explanation. Watch it and notice where you hesitate. Fix those spots, narrow down on them. Do this for 7 days straight and you'll feel comprehension starting to soar. Your effort is gonna start feeling rewarding, and then you're gonna love doing this. By next week, your friends will think you're cheating, but you'll just be learning the right way, because once you know how to learn, you can learn anything. And that's when life starts to feel just a little bit unfair in your favor. So if you got value from this, go ahead and crush the subscribe button. Grind it into the dust. Actually, never mind, you can just tap it. Then watch my last video right here, and I'll see you all in the trenches.